Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to show you a palm I acquired last year from the States. This is a hybrid palm, a Jubaea Chilensis crossed with a Butia Yatay. And I acquired this palm from Patrick Schaefer. He's a hobbyist breeder of some well-known hybrid palms. And this came to me basically shipped in a box, and it's right now in a 5-gallon pot, so it's not a huge palm yet. But the cool part about this palm is that it's got the characteristic of both the Jubaea and the Butia. So Jubaea are well known to have good cold tolerance, and they're also a very beautiful palm, but they're incredibly slow growing. So the idea of introducing some Butia to this cross is to speed up the growth somewhat. So the end result is a cold hardy pinnate palm that grows faster than a Jubaea would. So you'll see when looking at this palm, it'll have characteristics already showing of both palm species. So you can see the pinnate fronds. The trunk looks very much like a Jubaea would. You can see the base of the petioles have a very distinct spade-like shape to them, like a Jubaea has. And the fronds, they have a slight arch to them, which comes from the Butia characteristics, but they're not as arched as a pure Butia would be. So let's take a look now at what a Butia looks like. This is a Butia odorata, sometimes known as a capitata, but it's correctly an odorata. And you can see the pinnate frond structure, but the arch is in the petioles. So typical of a Butia, they have very strongly arching frond structure. And if you look at the trunk, it's fairly hairy, and it also has some purple and faint bluish to the base of the petioles, and it has a fairly upright growth pattern. So now let's take a look at a Jubaea Chilensis palm. So this is a Jubaea Chilensis palm. It's a young one, relatively speaking, at only maybe 15 years old. They are incredibly slow growing. But if you look at the palm, it's got a very robust, compact growth habit. And the pinnate fronds, as they come out away from the trunk, they twist. You can see that twist in the frond. And all the fronds will have this characteristic twist to them, which is characteristic of a Jubaea. And if you look at the trunk is very stout and not very upright. So that's a key difference between a Jubaea and a Butia. Butia would be much more slender and elongated, whereas this trunk of a Jubaea is going more outwards rather than upwards. And in fact, as this palm ages, it will develop its nice thick fat trunk base before it starts shooting up. So typically you'll see Jubaeas that aren't very tall, but they're very wide on the base. So, you know, the palm could be 20, 25 years old till it starts shooting up. And then it could be 100 years till it's reached full maturity. So this palm is definitely very, very slow growing, but incredibly beautiful palm. So now back to this hybrid. So this is a Jubaea crossed with a Butia. So the Jubaea is the female or the seed-bearing palm, and the Butia is the male or pollen-bearing palm. So typically this palm will show more characteristics of the female than the male in the cross, I find. But because it is a hybrid palm, you really don't know what it's going to turn out as until you grow it up. So this cross should have the cold and wet tolerance of a Jubaea and the look of a Jubaea, more or less, but slightly quicker growth because of the Butia. And the frond structure might be a little bit mixed, so showing a few characteristics of a Butia, yet kind of maintaining a Jubaea structure. So looking at some more mature hybrid palms of a Jubaea and a Butia, I've noticed that they tend to retain a very nice thick trunk like a Jubaea, yet they retain the base of the petioles like a Butia would be, so they don't fall off or self-clean as easily as a Jubaea would do. And again, the frond structure is a bit more arching, and some of them tend to have a bit more bluish tinge to the leaflets rather than dark green of a Jubaea, and that's again a characteristic of Butias. Anyways, I'm pretty excited to grow out this palm and see what's going to turn out as in 20 years or so. It's probably going to take that long to show anything significant. But if you're interested in hybrid palms, Patrick Schaefer is the guy to talk to, and he's in the States, and he's a hobbyist palm breeder. His website is coolhybrids.com. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day.